These women rose to incredible heights and captured the world's attention with talents and brilliance that no one could ignore. From Hollywood's golden age to the rise of modern music, they left an indelible mark on history. Welcome to Celebrity Times TV, where we take you to unforgettable moments of your favorite stars. Join us as we remember the lives of these stars, their legacies, and the moments that made them unforgettable. These are the stars who lit up the world, and the tragic flights that ended their journeys too soon. Carole Lombard, one of Hollywood's brightest stars during the golden age of cinema, met a tragic and untimely end on January 16, 1942. At just 33 years old, Lombard was at the peak of her career, known for her comedic brilliance and magnetic screen presence. But her life was cut short in a devastating plane crash that shocked the world and left an indelible mark on Hollywood history. Born Jane Alice Peters in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Carole Lombard became a household name in the 1930s, starring in iconic films like 20th Century and My Man Godfrey. Her sharp wit and effortless charm made her one of the highest-paid actresses of her time. But beyond her career, Lombard was also known for her patriotism. In early 1942, as World War II raged on, she embarked on a war bond tour to support the U.S. war effort. After a successful tour in her home state of Indiana, Lombard was eager to return to her husband, the legendary actor Clark Gable. She boarded TWA Flight 3, a Douglas DC-3 aircraft, bound for Los Angeles. The flight carried 22 passengers, including Lombard, her mother, and her agent. But tragedy struck shortly after takeoff. Just minutes into the flight, the plane veered off course and crashed into the rugged terrain of Mount Potosi, Nevada. There were no survivors. The crash was attributed to a combination of navigational errors and poor visibility due to wartime blackout conditions. The news of Lombard's death sent shockwaves through the nation. President Franklin D. Roosevelt even posthumously awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her contributions to the war effort. Carole Lombard's death was not just a loss for Hollywood but for the entire country. Her legacy lives on through her films, her unwavering spirit, and the love story she shared with Clark Gable, who was reportedly devastated by her passing. Today, she is remembered as one of the greatest actresses of her time, a star who burned brightly but far too briefly. Grace Moore, affectionately known as the Tennessee Nightingale, was a trailblazing figure in both opera and Hollywood. With a voice that captivated audiences worldwide, Moore rose from humble beginnings in small-town Tennessee to become one of the most celebrated sopranos of her time. But her remarkable journey came to a tragic end on January 26, 1947, when the plane she was traveling on crashed near Copenhagen, Denmark. Born in Slabtown, Tennessee, Grace Moore discovered her love for music at an early age. She moved to New York City to pursue her dreams, eventually making her debut at the Metropolitan Opera in 1928. Her powerful voice and charismatic presence quickly made her a star. Moore's success wasn't limited to the opera stage. She also found fame in Hollywood, starring in films like One Night of Love, which earned her an Academy Award nomination. By the 1940s, Grace Moore was a global sensation, performing for royalty and heads of state. In January 1947, she was returning to Europe after a series of concerts in the United States. She boarded KLM Flight 608, a Douglas DC-3 aircraft, bound for Stockholm, Sweden. The flight was routine, but tragedy struck as the plane approached Copenhagen. Shortly before landing, the plane crashed into a field near Copenhagen, killing all 22 passengers and crew on board. The cause of the crash was later determined to be a combination of poor weather conditions and pilot error. The news of Moore's death devastated her fans and the music world. She was just 48 years old. Grace Moore's legacy endures through her recordings, films, and the countless lives she touched with her music. She was a pioneer who broke barriers between opera and popular culture, proving that a girl from Tennessee could conquer the world's greatest stages. Her untimely death was a profound loss, but her voice continues to inspire generations. Tamara Drazen, a talented singer and actress whose career spanned Broadway, radio, and film, was a rising star in the entertainment world. Known for her enchanting voice and vibrant personality, Drazen's life was tragically cut short on February 22, 1943, in a plane crash that also claimed the lives of several other prominent figures, including singer Jane Froman. Born in Russia, Tamara Drazen immigrated to the United States as a child, where she quickly discovered her passion for music. She gained fame as a vocalist on Broadway and became a popular radio personality, captivating audiences with her soulful performances. Her talent and charm made her a beloved figure in the entertainment industry during the 1930s and early 1940s. In February 1943, Drazen was traveling to Europe as part of a USO tour to entertain American troops during World War II. She boarded Pan Am Flight 1104, a Boeing 314 flying boat, bound for Lisbon, Portugal. The flight was meant to be a routine journey, but fate had other plans. As the plane approached Lisbon, it encountered severe turbulence and crashed into the Tagus River. The impact was devastating, and while some passengers, including Jane Froman, survived, Tamara Drazen was among the 24 who lost their lives. She was just 35 years old. The crash was attributed to a combination of mechanical failure and adverse weather conditions. Tamara Drazen's death was a profound loss to the entertainment world. Her contributions to music and her dedication to uplifting the spirits of soldiers during the war left an indelible mark. Though her life was tragically short, her legacy lives on through the memories of those who knew her and the recordings that preserve her extraordinary talent. Mildred Harris, an actress whose name became forever linked to one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, Charlie Chaplin, lived a life marked by both fame and tragedy. On July 20, 1944, Harris's life came to a sudden and heartbreaking end when the private plane she was traveling in crashed in California. She was just 42 years old. Born in Cheyenne, Wyoming, Mildred Harris began her acting career as a child, appearing in silent films during the early days of Hollywood. By her teens, she had become a recognizable face in the industry, known for her delicate beauty and versatility. But it was her marriage to Charlie Chaplin in 1918 that catapulted her into the spotlight. Harris and Chaplin's marriage was short-lived and tumultuous, ending in a highly publicized divorce in 1920. Despite the challenges, Harris continued to work in films throughout the 1920s and 1930s, though her career never reached the heights of her early years. By the 1940s, she had largely stepped away from the limelight, focusing on her personal life. On that fateful day in July 1944, Harris was traveling in a private plane over California when disaster struck. The plane crashed under circumstances that remain unclear, claiming her life and the lives of others on board. The news of her death sent shockwaves through Hollywood, reminding the world of the fragility of life, even for those who once seemed larger than life. Mildred Harris's legacy is a complex one. While she is often remembered as Charlie Chaplin's first wife, her contributions to early Hollywood and her resilience in the face of personal and professional challenges deserve recognition. Her untimely death marked the end of a life that, though marked by hardship, was also filled with moments of triumph and grace. Irene Bordoni, the vivacious French actress and singer who charmed audiences on both sides of the Atlantic, met a tragic end on September 1, 1953. At the age of 64, Bordoni's life was cut short when Air France Flight 152, the Lockheed L-749 Constellation she was traveling on, crashed in the Azores. The world lost not only a talented performer but also a woman whose career bridged the cultural divide between Europe and America. Born in Corsica, France, Irene Bordoni began her career as a stage actress in Paris, where her wit, charm, and sultry voice quickly made her a star. By the 1910s, she had crossed the Atlantic to conquer Broadway, becoming one of the first French actresses to achieve major success in the United States. Her performances in musicals like Paris and Naughty Cinderella earned her critical acclaim and a devoted following. Bordoni's career was a testament to her versatility. She seamlessly transitioned between stage and screen, appearing in both French and American films. Her unique blend of French sophistication and American exuberance made her a standout figure in the entertainment world. Even as she aged, Bordoni continued to perform, proving that her talent was timeless. On September 1, 1953, Bordoni was traveling from Paris to New York aboard Air France Flight 152. The Lockheed L-749 Constellation was a state-of-the-art aircraft, but tragedy struck as the plane approached the Azores. It crashed into a mountainside, killing all 66 passengers and crew on board. The cause of the crash was later attributed to navigational errors and poor weather conditions. Irene Bordoni's death marked the end of an era. She was a trailblazer who brought a touch of French elegance to American stages and screens, leaving an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. Her legacy lives on through her recordings, films, and the countless lives she touched with her artistry. Rita Montaner, the legendary Cuban singer and actress known as Cuba's Supreme Voice, was a cultural icon whose talent transcended borders. Her vibrant performances and powerful voice made her a beloved figure in Latin America and beyond. But on April 17, 1958, Montaner's life came to a tragic end when Cubanada Aviation Flight 495, the Douglas DC-3 she was traveling on, crashed near Havana. She was 58 years old. Born in Guanabacoa, Cuba, Rita Montaner showed an early aptitude for music and the arts. She studied piano and voice at the Havana Conservatory, where her extraordinary talent quickly became evident. By the 1920s, Montaner had become a star in Cuba, captivating audiences with her performances in zarzuelas, operas, and popular music. Her ability to blend classical and Afro-Cuban styles made her a trailblazer in the world of Latin music. Montaner's fame soon spread beyond Cuba. She performed in Paris, New York, and across Latin America, earning acclaim for her versatility and charisma. She also made a name for herself in film, starring in movies like Romance del Palmer and Suicidio en La Habana. Her work helped to popularize Cuban culture on the global stage, making her a national treasure. On April 17, 1958, Montaner was traveling on Cubanada Aviation Flight 495, a domestic flight bound for Havana. The Douglas DC-3 aircraft was a common sight in Cuban skies, but on this day, disaster struck. Shortly after takeoff, the plane crashed near the town of Guira de Molina, killing all 17 passengers and crew on board. The cause of the crash was attributed to mechanical failure. Rita Montaner's death was a profound loss for Cuba and the world. Her contributions to music, theater, and film left an indelible mark on Cuban culture, and her legacy continues to inspire artists today. She was more than a performer, she was a symbol of Cuba's rich artistic heritage and a voice that resonated with the soul of a nation. Patsy Cline, the queen of country music, left an indelible mark on the world with her soulful voice and timeless hits like Crazy and Walkin' After Midnight. But on March 5, 1963, the music world was shaken to its core when Cline's life was tragically cut short in a plane crash. At just 30 years old, she was at the peak of her career, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire generations of musicians and fans. Born Virginia Patterson Hensley in Winchester, Virginia, Patsy Cline's journey to stardom was one of perseverance and passion. From humble beginnings, she rose to become one of the most iconic voices in country music. Her ability to convey raw emotion through her music made her a trailblazer, breaking barriers for women in the industry and earning her a place in the hearts of millions. By 1963, Patsy Cline was a household name, celebrated for her powerful voice and unforgettable performances. On March 3rd, she performed at a benefit concert in Kansas City, Kansas, alongside fellow country stars Hawkshaw Hawkins and Cowboy Copas. After the show, Cline boarded her manager's private plane, a Piper PA-24 Comanche, to return home to Nashville. The flight was plagued by poor weather conditions, with heavy rain and low visibility. As the plane approached Camden, Tennessee, it crashed into a forest, killing everyone on board. Investigators later determined that pilot error and adverse weather were to blame. The loss of Patsy Cline, along with Hawkshaw Hawkins and Cowboy Copas, was a devastating blow to the country music community. Patsy Cline's death marked the end of an era, but her music lives on. Her influence can be heard in the voices of countless artists who followed in her footsteps, and her songs remain as powerful and poignant as ever. She was more than a singer, she was a pioneer, a legend, and a voice that defined a generation. Eve Meyer, a glamorous model, actress, and former Playboy playmate, was a vibrant figure in the world of entertainment during the 1950s and 1960s. Known for her roles in B-movies like Operation Dames, 1959, Meyer's life came to a tragic end on March 27, 1977, in the deadliest aviation accident in history, the Tenerife airport disaster. She was 48 years old. Born in the United States, Eve Meyer began her career as a model, gracing the pages of magazines and eventually becoming a Playboy playmate. Her striking looks and charisma soon caught the attention of Hollywood, where she transitioned into acting. Though her roles were often in low-budget films, Meyer's presence on screen was unforgettable, and she became a cult figure in the world of B-movies. By the 1970s, Meyer had stepped away from the spotlight, focusing on her personal life and other ventures. But on March 27, 1977, she found herself aboard Pan Am Flight 1736, a Boeing 747 bound for Las Palmas. The flight was diverted to Tenerife's Los Rodeos airport due to a bomb threat at its original destination. What followed was a tragedy of unimaginable proportions. Amid heavy fog and miscommunication, the Pan Am jet was struck by a KLM Boeing 747 attempting to take off on the same runway. The collision resulted in a catastrophic explosion, killing 583 people, the highest death toll in aviation history. Eve Meyer was among the passengers on the Pan Am flight, her life tragically cut short in the chaos. Eve Meyer's death was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictability of tragedy. Though her career was often overshadowed by the glitz of Hollywood's golden age, her contributions to film and modeling remain a testament to her talent and charm. Her legacy lives on in the memories of those who knew her and the fans who admired her work. There you have it. Let us remember them not for how they left this world, but for how they lit it up. We'd be bringing you a part 2 where we uncover even more stories of remarkable women whose lives were tragically cut short. Don't miss it. Subscribe now and turn on the notification bell so you'd be notified when it drops.